You are now listening to The Forefront Radio, where we discuss history, the Bible, the history of the Israelites, science, and other matters. Bring it out. The history of the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans as it relates to the Bible. Who were you prior to slavery? Who were you prior to colonization? These answers and more can be seen and heard as you listen to The Forefront Radio.
Thank you for tuning into the Forefront Radio. I'm your host, Afiel Levi Israel. Now, if you're interested in helping us promote our brand, please feel free to donate to our Cash App. Our Cash App is $Afiel Levi. That's APHIEL LEVI. And that'll go directly to the Forefront Radio so we can produce more incredible shows for you to listen to. Now, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download this free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you.
You are now listening to The Forefront Radio, where we discuss history, the Bible, the history of the Israelites, science, and other matters. Bring it out. The history of the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans as it relates to the Bible. Who were you prior to slavery? Who were you prior to colonization? These answers and more can be seen and heard as you listen to The Forefront Radio.
Went up to the salesman. We're interested in your home. We're interested in buying one. And what is the procedure? Is there an application to be filled out? So forth. So he looked at me, looked around, and he said to me, he says, listen, it's not me, but the owners of this development have not as yet decided to sell these homes to Negroes.
It was as though it wasn't real. You can't imagine. But for someone to come out and actually tell you that they can't sell to you, you know, I was really on an up. Man, look at this house. Can you imagine having this? And then for them to tell me because of the color of my skin, I can't be a part of it.
The FHA underwriters warned that the presence of even one or two non-white families could undermine real estate values in the new suburbs.
So imagine a world where you're trying to live your life, you're trying to prosper in a nation that allegedly claims that you have freedom, claims that you have rights, claim that you have the same amount of liberties and accoutrements that other groups of people have, but specifically target you and keep you away from being able to purchase land and property. Such is the case for so-called African Americans and people in the black diaspora here in the United States of America, aka Babylon the Great. On the Forefront Radio, we're going to talk about briefly how blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have an increased wealth gap due to the fact of slavery, colonialism, and preventative measures by governmental forces to prevent you from getting ahead. This is why I advocate for you to go back to these other lands, to the continent of Africa, buy real estate, invest in businesses, go to, the Caribbean islands and network with other individuals that are trying to build. Help your people do something. Too many times we put our ducks in a row here in America, and we need to stop doing that. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all these commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So now we're talking about generational curses that afflict the children of Israel, the lost tribes. One of the generational curses is not being able to substantiate and have a home for yourself where you can generate wealth. The reason why there's a large wealth gap between the middle class of blacks, Hispanics, Latinos, and so-called white people, the people of European and Edomite descent, is because they have prevented you from being able to marry women and have strong families and build houses. Watch this. Here's the generational curse written of in the Bible. It says, thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. During slavery, was not our mothers and daughters taken from us and given to other groups of people? Was another man or another race responsible for lying with her? Yes, that did happen. So now consider this. It also says, thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not gather the grapes thereof. So imagine nowadays how these generational curses still occur to this day. My father was a man that worked construction as a plasterer, and I told him, wouldn't it be great if after you constructed a home, you were able to reap the benefits of helping build that home every month or every year? He said, yeah, that's good, but it doesn't work like that. I said, so you're telling me that they pay you money to build the home, you build the home for minuscule amounts of money, but then over a period of 30 and 40 years, they can still charge rent to people? Does that even make sense to you? They gave you the money to build the home. They couldn't build it for themselves, but then in turn, instead of pay you for your labor, your intense labor that you sweated for, they did not give that to you. But yet they in turn charge millions of people to come into their properties and own and rent and mortgage these properties, right? So now think during slavery, we were the ones. Remember, Barack Obama's wife said that black folks were the ones that built the White House, and people were shocked because they was like, really? Did that actually occur?
The story of generations of people who felt the lash of bondage, the shame of servitude, the sting of segregation, but who kept on striving and hoping and doing what needed to be done so that today I wake up every morning in a house that was built by slaves. And I watch my daughters, two beautiful, intelligent black young women, playing with their dogs on the White House lawn.
And they had to go back and look it up to find out, yes, this was the case, that blacks indeed built the White House that we see of today. It is, for me, frustrating when I'm trying to inform people, look, you don't have to put all your ducks in a row. You don't have to stay here in Babylon the Great. You can leave. You can do something else. You can go. You don't have to stay here in Babylon the Great. It's very important for you to understand this. So one of the generational curses why we're affected is because our ancestors were the ones on Mount Sinai with Moses, given the laws, statutes, and commandments. And because we weren't obedient to the laws, we broke the laws of the Most High. We suffered from generational curses. Watch what this says here in Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 26. It says this: cursed be he that confirmeth not all the words of this law to do them. And all the people shall say, Amen. We were the ones that are afflicted by the curse of the law, the generational curses that has happened to us as a nation of people. Now, Jesus the Christ, the Black Messiah, told you how to overcome the curse by overcoming your sins, walking uprightly, doing what is right and honorable. There's a story that I watched online of a amazing Gambian. Gambia is in the west coast of Africa, for those that don't know. This Gambian partnered with a friend of his that was a lawyer, and the two of them collectively worked together to get a hotel that was sold by a Caucasian investor. They in turn modernized, fixed up, and caused this one hotel to become a world-class enterprise. And now they have not only one, not only two, not even three, but 5 hotels now in the Gambia. You heard what I said? 5 hotels in the Gambia. Now, keep in mind, folks, I'm not one that is really impressed by money. I'm not one that chases after money, but I do recognize a solid investment and something that can help your people, because the scriptures itself says, a wise man shall build an inheritance for his children's children. We were meant to rule the world. The Most High set us up to be his chosen nation of kings and priests, and we have to overcome this slave downtrodden mindset. The kingdom of heaven is within you. And we have to build sanctuaries for our people, not only here in the States, but also overseas throughout the world. The gospel is a global outreach to all of the diaspora. You Blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans have to work together to help one another to survive famine, war, pestilence, and plague. The recent pandemonium should have taught you a valuable lesson of working together. Zephaniah chapter 2 verse 1 says, "Gather together, O nation not desired." We are the nation that is not desired by other people. So we have to work together amongst ourselves. You already heard the clip that we played earlier, where older gentleman and his wife tried to obtain a home and was blocked by the FHA. The FHA provides loans to veterans, right? How many Black veterans were not able to purchase a home because the FHA blocked them, okay? And now generational wealth that could have been developed back then was blocked only because, not because you had anything against the system, but because you were a Black man and the system had something against you. So it's time for us to wake up, work together as a collective, build with one another, and stop betraying one another, and follow the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Bible with faith in the Black Messiah. Peace and blessings to you all. Thank you for listening to the Forefront Radio.
Hey, my friend, you have just listened to the Forefront Radio. Please leave your comment and input about the show, what you like about the show, as well as any general feedback on ways to improve. We need your help to acquire new equipment to implement studio quality video and audio to our friends. Contribute as little as $4.99. It's only worth a cup of coffee. Then we can produce documentaries, more episodes, and great info for the diaspora. Go to Cash App and enter APHIELLEVI to donate to the Forefront Radio to cover our advertising costs and reach more people. Catch our next episode on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Anchor.fm/The Forefront. Always remember, the truth shall liberate the mind. Peace to the heirs of promise and the heritage of the scattered 12 tribes. Hey, my friend, you have just listened to the Forefront Radio. Please leave your comment and input about the show, what you like about the show, as well as any general feedback on ways to improve. We need your help to acquire new equipment to implement studio quality video and audio to our friends. Contribute as little as $4.99. It's only worth a cup of coffee. Then we can produce documentaries, more episodes, and great info for the diaspora. Go to Cash App and enter APHIELLEVI LEVI, to donate to the Forefront Radio to cover our advertising costs and reach more people. Catch our next episode on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Anchor.fm/The Forefront. Always remember, the truth shall liberate the mind. Peace to the heirs of promise and the heritage of the scattered 12 tribes.